Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Emily and this is That Carnivore Life. I'm excited to share with you today a Q&A about my carnivore journey thus far. If you find anything helpful, if there's anything you'd like to comment on, please use the comment box down below. And please like this video by giving it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, select the bell notification to be notified of future episode uploads, and come follow me on Instagram at thatcarnivorelife.gram. I share daily snippets into my life as a carnivore. Most of those are meal-based pictures of what I'm eating, but there are some other things thrown in that you typically won't see on my channel here on YouTube. Thank you again for joining me today. Let's get to it. Before I jump into the questions, I'd like to give you a bit of a backstory. Technically, I've been on this carnivore journey since June 15 of 2020. It's currently June 12 of 2022, so I'm almost at my 2-year carniversary. However, the first 3 months, solid carnivore, except for 3 times every 30 days, which I called my in a blue moon days, where I had a few things that were not carnivore. Unfortunately, at the 90-day mark when I did that, the things that I chose to eat, not only were they high in carbs and sugar, I also ate them to excess. And that sent me on a road of struggling to remain carnivore. My meals were, it was my snacks and added things that were not. I would go through, whether it was a week, whether it was 3 weeks where I would eat really well carnivore and then I wouldn't for a week or a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I even did a month where I was straight back on carnivore, but then I just really struggled. Fast forward to last summer, so a year ago, so that was a year into being carnivore, I was still struggling. I would definitely have meals that were carnivore, but added in all this stuff that wasn't. Fast forward to November 27, I believe it was, 2 or 3 days after Thanksgiving. And that's when I decided, no, this needs to stop. I need to get back on carnivore. There have been some moments since then where I haven't fully eaten carnivore. I've added in some sauce, or, Christmas, I had some non-carnivore things and I've had a week here or there or 2 weeks here and there, but I have been mostly carnivore, and the rest of it I'll share with you in the Q&A. I sort of answer in there, but that leads us up to where I'm at today. We are now the 12th of June and I have done 12 full days of full carnivore. Previous to that, I had about 2 weeks. There were a number of days where I was, number of days where I wasn't. Previous to that, I did a full month of full carnivore. I was having raw dairy and I was having decaf tea. That brings us up to today. I am 3 days away from my 2nd anniversary of discovering carnivore and journeying through to becoming fully carnivore compliant long term, which is the goal that I have for myself. Question number 1. What has changed in my carnivore diet? In March, I begun switching and switched to consuming only raw dairy. I have long suspected that dairy was contributing to some inflammation I've still been experiencing, but also it was stalling me and preventing me from losing weight, and I was putting on a little bit of weight, and I just really felt like it was hindering me. So I thought before cutting out dairy completely, I would switch to raw dairy. And I did that for 2-ish, 3-ish months, give or take. Well, as of June 1st, I have cut out all dairy. I'm not having raw dairy. I'm not having raw cheese. I'm not having anything. The only exception has been is that I look after my friend's little baby. She's 1 year old. During the week, I help them out while they work from home. And when I make her food, I will sometimes have a tiny piece of cheese. So I sprinkle some grated cheese on her food and I might eat 2 or 3 little pieces of the grated cheese, or I'll break up a cheese slice for her and I might have a piece that's, the size or 2 times the size of my thumbnail. But that's not every day. It's not every time I make food for her. I've maybe done it 4 times in the last 12 days. So max, like maybe only 3 times. I don't remember. It's been there. It's been in my face. I didn't want to be triggered and end up eating sugar and carbs, which has normally happened. So I had that tiny little piece face, got it out of my system. It got it out of the thoughts in my head, and it's still carnivore. I have just made that personal choice that I don't want to be consuming dairy. When those thoughts are so intense like that, when it's right in front of me and I'm making food for the baby, I'll have that tiny little piece. It's done and dusted, and I'm not plagued by really nasty inner critic, negative thoughts around food that then increases to sugar and carbs, and then I go off the rails. So that's how I've been handling the dairy side of things of late. I also, actually before I removed or switched to raw dairy, I had removed eggs from my diet as well. I was suspecting that eggs were causing me itchy skin. I get psoriasis on my scalp, but I was finding that I was itching all over my body. There was no psoriasis there. I couldn't put it down to anything. And then I wondered if the eggs were doing it. So I removed eggs from my diet. About a month ago, I decided to add back in eggs, but only the egg yolks. I wasn't searching for information around eggs and possible issues, but I've begun hearing a lot of people talking about when someone has an issue with eggs, it is often the egg whites. So I thought, well, I enjoy eating egg yolks raw. It's like, you know, the chocolates that have liquid center and you burst them in your mouth. It's actually for me like eating one of those, but it is fully carnivore. It's no sugar. It's not processed. It's healthy and nutritious. It's not junk. And so I thought, well, let's do that. For the last month, whenever I've had eggs, and it's often been at breakfast, I've had 2, 3, or 4 egg yolks, and it's a really nice, satisfying, and enjoying way to start my day. And from what I can tell so far, I have not been reacting to the egg yolks, so that's a huge win for me. The other thing that I did, or sort of a similar time frame with the eggs and with the dairy, is that I switched from drinking regular tea to drinking decaf tea, and that did make a big difference, but honestly, it wasn't a big enough difference. And there's someone I'm following, I'll tell you about him later, but he said, get rid of the tea, get rid of the coffee. He explains why. And I thought, well, why not? And so because of some of the advice that I'd heard him share, specifically around Crohn's disease, which is a condition that I suffer with, I decided I would follow his advice and I would also get rid of the tea. Since June 1st, I've got rid of all dairy and I've got rid of all tea, decaf and otherwise. So I'm actually only drinking water or sparkling soda water that doesn't have sugar, doesn't have flavorings in it, and electrolytes. Again, without sugar, without flavorings, without artificial sweeteners. So that's all I'm drinking for now. And this is what has changed in my carnivore diet. Question number 2, do I eat organs? No, I'm not opposed to eating liver when my body needs it. What I have learned through following a lot of carnivore influencers is that yes, organs can be needed, but organs are often so highly concentrated with the particular nutrients that they're providing. I think it's vitamin K is particularly high, or vitamin A in liver. And it's incredibly easy for us to get toxicity from that. I think it's A or K, I don't know which one, if we're consuming liver on a regular basis. Now, if you're low in the vitamin, you're going to crave that vitamin, or you're going to crave liver. I know I did. It would have been April of 2021 that I began craving liver. And so I had liver maybe 8 times over the space of a month or 2. And then I didn't want liver. I didn't want to be anywhere near it. Then I decided to try out carnivore crisps and I got liver in that. I ate 1 piece and I was like, yep, this is good. I went to eat a second piece and my body was like, nope. So that packet of liver sits in my freezer. I'm not going to throw it away. And when my body craves it again, it's there, it's ready, and I can eat it. I have also tried a chicken heart when I was out at an all-you-can-eat Brazilian restaurant. So I am not opposed to trying out some organs, not all of them, but it's not a part of my regular diet. I don't go out of my way to find them unless my body's craving the liver. That's the only thing I've found that my body, organ-wise, has craved thus far has been liver. But no, typically I don't eat organs. Question number 3. Do I take any supplements? Why or why not? Well, no, but yes. The only supplements that I have been taking lately are hair, skin, and nail supplements that I have purchased at Costco. I cannot tell you what brand they are. I have no idea. There's 2 reasons why I take them. 1, my housemate has been taking them for over a year now, and her hair is incredibly healthy. She has incredible growth in her hair. I have that recommendation, not even from her mouth. I've just personally witnessed it. I know that they work. I also know on the carnivore diet that it is such a healthy diet that our hair, skin, and nails love it and grow really well. We don't need to be taking those supplements. So why have I been taking those supplements? Well, I had a couple of hairdressers that weren't good for my hair and caused a lot of damage. You probably would have seen over my episodes, if you go back, to November, that my hair has got shorter and shorter. This is as short as it will get. We were able to cut off all of the dead stuff when I went to the hairdresser yesterday, all of the dry damaged stuff. We're left with just the healthy. I have been trying to get my hair to grow as quickly as possible because I'm really not a fan of short hair. I personally like my hair to be longer. I am almost through my 2nd bottle, I think it is, of supplements, and then I'm going to stop taking those hair, skin, and nail supplements and just rely on the carnivore diet because I feel like I'm at that point now with my hair that it's not in that desperate stage, and personally it's cheaper not to buy the supplements. There's a couple of ingredients in the supplements that I'm not a fan of consuming, and because now I'm at that place where I'm like, yep, my hair is way better than what it was, I'm just going to stop taking them once I run out of the bottle, which should be in a week. Question number 4. What are my go-to foods? Honestly, this is more of like, what am I craving? What foods do I like and what foods do I not? The most common food that you'll see me eating on a week in, week out basis is steak, usually ribeye, pretty much only ribeye. Egg yolks, bacon, butter, and chicken skin. I will find chicken skin. I'll find it. I really enjoy the crunch of chicken skin. It's super light. It's super crispy. It's got great flavor. That would be my staple that typically week in and week out you will see me consuming. Question number 5. What is my favorite meat to eat? Without a doubt, ribeye. Ribeye is my favorite meat to eat. I much prefer eating it in a steak form as opposed to roasted or crispy pieces or crispy chunks. I still enjoy those. There's just something about sitting down with a ribeye steak that brings me so much delight, so much satisfaction that you'll find me eating at least 1 a day, if not 2. Question number 6. How do I handle road trips or hikes? Well, road trips more so than hikes, a lot of preparation. I will have sparkling water and regular water and ice to mix up my drinks, make them a little bit different. The thing I find about road trips is that my brain gets very bored, especially if I'm a passenger. So I need to have options. I also like to have things that are easy to be thrown away and easy access. My sparkling water will typically be in a can form. Crack it open, drink it, squish it down, throw it in the trash at a rest stop, and it's gone. Snack wise, I'll get as much variety as I can. Carnivore crisps, the carnivore bar. I will make up crispy bacon or crispy chicken skin. I'll have a freezer bag that I will put stuff in. If we're stopping, I'll try and find different places to stop, like In and Out, and I'll get some burger patties. You can get those through McDonald's as well. So if In and Out's not there, or even I believe Sonic have them too. I just again try and mix up the variety. There is a couple of things that I find at Sprouts that I can eat as well, like biltong, just as long as it doesn't have the other stuff added. So I'll typically get a packet or 2 of those just to really mix it up again, because my brain gets bored, and that's a way that I can mix it up is by having different things. Hiking wise, typically a carnivore bar or some carnivore crisps will do it, or again I'll have bacon that I will have crisped up and salted in a little Ziploc bag. Also electrolytes when I'm hiking. I get my electrolytes from LMNT or Element. I'll talk about that more in a question later on, but that is what I use to stay hydrated. I typically don't eat or drink that much on a hike. If it's the longer hikes, like 2 hours plus, that's where I definitely have my electrolytes electrolytes and definitely drink, and I will typically have something like a carnivore bar or the bacon bites because it is a longer hike. Otherwise, if it's a shorter hike, I just eat and drink when I get home. Question number 7, how do I handle restaurants? That really depends. Am I the one choosing the restaurant? That's super easy. I'll go to an all-you-can-eat hot pot, or you can eat barbecue like Korean, Japanese, Brazilian, sushi where I can get sashimi. I'll go to a barbecue place. Rib crib is one that usually works really well. Though when I go to somewhere like Rib Crib, I usually just have to suck it up where the seasonings are concerned. I do ask them if they can do it without seasoning, but often their answer is no. So that's sort of my if I can't go to the other places, I'll go to that. What about if I don't get to choose the restaurant location and someone says, hey, we're gonna go to Mod Pizza? Cool, great. I have no idea personally how I would handle that. Honestly, what comes to my mind is I would eat before I go. I would take a carnivore bar with me that I could eat there, and I would ask if I could have a pizza base. I would get a gluten-free pizza base and I would load it up with bacon and I think they're chicken. And then I would sit at the table and I would eat the bacon and the chicken off the pizza and I would throw the rest away. Personally, I don't like doing that because I don't get enough meat on it. I'm paying like $10 to $12 for that. I'd rather just sit there and eat my carnivore and enjoy the company and companionship and relationship with my friends. If we're going to a restaurant like you've got Outback, any restaurant like that, I'll typically call ahead of time if I'm not familiar with the restaurant and just make sure I can get some form of steak without any seasonings and just with butter on the side. And I've usually been very successful doing that, and it makes it a lot less stressful for me, and I feel a lot less uncomfortable around my friends talking with the waiter in front of them, which has happened a number of times. So I just prefer the phone call ahead method. Question number 8, how do I handle being invited over to a friend's house or being invited for a meal with them? Typically you walk into someone's house, can I get you a drink? Yeah, water's great. Or what do you have? Well, we have da da da. I'll take a plain sparkling water, please. You know, that would be so great. If you got ice, that's wonderful. Food wise, if they have food, it depends again on which friends I'm visiting. A lot of my friends know what I'm eating and they were like, I'm so sorry, I don't have anything here that you can eat. And my typical answer is, that's actually really okay. I've already eaten and I am not hungry. I'm totally okay. If I'm going over for a meal, I'll say, what were you thinking of cooking? And then I'll say, well, can I bring this or can I bring that to add to it? And then that's something that I can eat that won't make me sick. Or they might say, what can I cook for you? And I'm like, well, why don't we do a taco bar and I'll bring the meat. That way I can flavor the meat in a way that I can still eat it. It has some herbs and spices in that I don't normally consume on a carnivore diet, but it's okay because it's, again, very, very rare. And you'll see many people do use some seasonings in their carnivore way of eating. I very, very rarely do. I think I've done that twice where friends are concerned. So for me, actually being invited over to friends' houses is super easy to work around, actually easier than going to a restaurant. Question number 9 is around weight and measurements. How am I doing with that since beginning carnivore? I don't remember what I weighed 2 years ago, but I do think it was more than what I weighed on November 27, 2021, when I decided I was going to go back to full carnivore properly. November 27 of 2021, I weighed 189.8 pounds. As of today, June 12 of 2022, I weigh 180.5 pounds. That is 9.3 pound weight loss, which is 4.2 kilos. That's barely anything considering it's 7-8 months later. But again, as I said, I had like a month there where eating carnivore, but I was adding in things that wasn't. And then I've had some random days here and there. What I think is really great is that whilst I've had challenges on the way to becoming fully carnivore all the time, I've still lost weight. I still wear the same clothes, but they are looser. And I've noticed I've started to wear some tops that don't hide my belly as much because my belly is more flat, my midsection, which is super nice. Question number 10. What benefits am I seeing? I am more positive overall. My mental headspace is more positive. I can think more clearly, so I'm experiencing a lot less brain fog. I'm also noticing that my physical motivation is returning. I've had mental motivation the whole time. There's been all of these things that I want to do, that I'm excited to do, that I look forward to do. But when it came to actually doing them physically, I had zero motivation. I couldn't do it. Whereas now I'm starting to do those things. I'm actually excited to do them. I'm not hesitating to do them. I'm getting my motivation back, which is a huge win for me and something that I found really challenging over the last several months to be impacted with. I'm also noticing with the removal of dairy and decaffeinated tea that I have less cravings less often. And that is incredibly helpful for me to stay carnivore compliant and stay kicking the goals that I have set for myself. Question number 10. What new sources of information have I found lately that are helpful? There's just one, and that is Dr. Anthony Chaffee. Dr. Chaffee started medical school. He was playing rugby. He's an All-American or was an All-American rugby player. I'm not sure the correct terminology there. He decided to pause medical school and play rugby for a living. If I've got this wrong, I'm sorry, Dr. Anthony, but I believe he's played in America, in the UK, in New Zealand, and I think in Australia. He currently resides in Australia, in Perth, and he's finishing off his medical school there. I believe he is fully qualified, but he's working towards board certification. I could have that a little bit off. Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Chaffee, I believe is the correct spelling. I've come across him in the last few months. I love the information that he shares. His episodes are usually over an hour to like an hour and a half. They're quite long. I'm often listening to them in stages while I'm cleaning, while I'm walking, that kind of thing. They have been so helpful. It's actually from him that gave me the courage and motivation to remove dairy, even raw dairy, and to remove tea, even decaffeinated tea. The reason being is he talks a lot about who should go carnivore, and he says without a doubt, if you have an IBD, an inflammatory bowel disease such as Crohn's or colitis, beyond a shadow of a doubt, those people should be eating carnivore. He says that what he has seen with his clients is that at around within 3 months of going fully carnivore, everything, they have completely got over their condition. Like there's no trace of it. Scopes are done at the 3 months mark and they cannot find the Crohn's or the colitis, which is incredible. And that is encouraging for me because I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in early 2012. And whilst I've been declared clinically in remission, I believe I still am. I've had symptoms flaring lately, which has been concerning because my doctor is back in Australia and I don't have a specialist to check in with. I haven't experienced any symptoms that are concerning enough that I would need to go see a specialist. It would be sort of that early stage of, hey, what's going on? Is there something going on? If all it takes is 3 months of clean cut carnivore, then by the time I get to a specialist, by the time I get tests done, and by the time I get the results, I'll be 3 months carnivore clean anyway. So I haven't seen a need to follow through with any of that. But Dr. Anthony Chaffee, I cannot thank him enough. He has been so helpful for me specifically considering being diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and it gives me the confidence that I'm on the right track with improving my health and with ensuring I hopefully don't ever deal with Crohn's disease again. Question 11 comes in 3 parts. It's asking for my review on some of the carnivore foods or carnivore products that I have been trying. The first one is, what do I think of carnivore crisps? So this is carnivore crisps. This is the packet that they come in. And this one is the grass-fed beef liver. The ingredients are grass-fed beef liver, purified water, and Redmond real salt. I like the packaging. It's easy to see what it is, super clear to read. It says that it's grass-fed, no hormones, USA family farmer, pastures raised and gluten-free, made with Redmond real salt. So I have tried a number of these. I'm not sure if I can can remember every one that I've tried. I think I tried the heart, I've got the liver, lamb, sirloin, top round, ribeye, chicken skin. Got a feeling there's one or two others that I've tried as well. I got them when I went on a retreat back at the beginning of March. I haven't actually purchased them since. I've been trying other things. For me, the ribeye had too much flavor. I love it in the fresh like steak form, but dried like this, it concentrates the flavor. And for me, it was just a little bit too much. I really enjoyed the sirloin and the round. I did like the lamb. Again, the flavor was almost a little too strong. I liked the chicken skin. Wasn't a fan of heart, but I'm not a fan of heart anyway. Overall, I really like them. They're super crispy. They've got a really nice amount of salt on them. These are great for hiking, great for road trips, you know, great if you're in a pinch, great to crumble up over some food. They're just really great. I think they're reasonably priced for what they are, and there's often a discount code that you can use that brings the price down a little bit further. The next product I've been asked what I think of is the Carnivore bar. Firstly, can we all applaud the packaging? It is beautiful. They come in a very narrow rectangle box. It's black, same design. They're all beautifully lined up. These are just so amazing. Firstly, they remind me of the Nestle Crunch bar that's chocolate with, I think it's like rice bubble crunchy pieces in it. It's like creamy with crunchy pieces. I personally prefer them from the refrigerator or from the freezer. From the freezer, they're actually quite a resistance to bite into, but I find that they soften quick enough that it's only the first couple of bites that are like, you know, to snap it off. If they're in the refrigerator, they're a lot easier to bite into from that first bite, but I find the end has got quite soft and mushy. So I'm sort of in between freezer and refrigerator. I personally don't think they have much flavor. This is the unsalted bar. I would get the salted bar, but I'm a little nervous that it'll have too much salt and I won't like it. So I've just been getting the unsalted version and it hasn't bothered me. I have them as a backup when I'm caring for my friend's baby in case the food that I took wasn't enough. I take them kayaking, on road trips, on hiking. And yesterday I didn't have time to eat breakfast, so I actually ate one of these for breakfast. I super enjoy these, and just the packaging just makes me happy. It's so aesthetically pleasing. It's just so beautiful. And this, my friends, is the only protein bar that's an actual real protein bar, in my personal opinion. The next product and the final product I've been asked for my opinion on is electrolytes. So these are element electrolytes. They are the raw, unflavored. There is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium in each of these beautiful little travel packets. I've taken the lid off so it fits more easily in my drawer where I store them. I pull out one every morning to start my day hydrated. And then most days I will have a second one in the afternoon, evening, or middle of the evening before I go to bed. I've been noticing just this week I haven't needed that second one, even though we've had warmer weather. So I think I've got my electrolytes in a better space. Now, Element, they have flavored versions as well. They use stevia. There's no junk in these. It is literally just the electrolytes, which is fantastic. They're perfect traveling companions. They fit easily in your purse. The packaging, I like the packaging as well. I prefer the Carnivore bar packaging, but you know, not everyone can have the same packaging. So these are absolutely fantastic. I have a discount code for these where you can get a free sampler pack. I believe there's 12 little pouches in the sampler pack, all the different flavors, so you really get to try them. My link, I will link it in the show notes, episode notes, whatever. In the description, I will link the discount for these, but you'll also find the discount for them in my highlights reel on my Instagram, which is thatcarnivorelife.gram. So if you're not already following me there, go follow me there and you can grab the link there as well. Question number 12. Do I miss or crave fruits or veggies, so plants, or sugar and carbs? Do I miss fruit and veggies? Occasionally. It'd be great to sit down with a bowl of berries and cream or something like that, or some mushrooms with my steak. But honestly, no. I think the times that I find myself missing fruits or veggies is more so when I'm around other people. That's when I'm kind of like, oh, it'd be nice to have the salad that they're having. But really, like, that's the thought. It passes in, passes out of my mind, and that's it. Do I crave fruits or veggies? No. Sugar and carbs. So when I say carbs, I'm not referring to plant-based carbs in their whole form. I'm referring to, say, a waffle cone or the bun that typically is served with a burger. They're the kind of carbs that I'm referring to. Do I miss them? No, because of how they make me feel. Do I crave them? Yes, which is super frustrating. I haven't craved them probably for about 5 days now, but there are many moments where I do crave them, and I crave them a lot. More so ice cream and cake. If I'm going to slip up carnivore-wise and have something accidentally that's not carnivore, it's not going to be fruit and veggies. It's going to be ice cream or chocolate or like a pizza. It's not at all going to be fruit or veggies, which if I'm going to slip up on carnivore, I'd rather slip up with fruits and veggies, not with all of the processed sugar-filled junk. Now, yes, fruit and veggies are carbohydrates, which are sugar. For me, it's not the same as, say, the sugar you find in ice cream, which is why I don't crave the sugar and veggies and why I crave the ice cream. That's my personal viewpoint of that. Next question. Question 13 is 2 parts. What is an abstainer and what is a moderator? I want to talk about a moderator first. Are you someone who likes to have something fancy to drink once in a while? Maybe a cocktail, maybe a red or a white wine? I certainly am. I would be a moderator where alcohol is concerned. I can have half a glass of wine or a cocktail that's placed in front of me and I can stop. Or I can drink the whole thing and then not have any for 6 months. Doesn't even come into my mind for 6 months, or it comes into my mind, I'm like, yeah, don't feel like that. It's super easy. So many of us are moderators when it comes to something like alcohol. I'm sure you're all aware of people who we term as alcoholics, who really struggle with their alcohol. They struggle to quit. They might fall back off the wagon, and then they struggle with it for a really long time. We're talking a ridiculous amount of alcohol consumption. Again, we term them as alcoholics, and these are the people that I use to describe abstainers. They cannot moderate their alcohol consumption. They actually need to abstain from it. They can't taste it. I'm pretty sure most of them shouldn't smell it or can't smell it. Some of them can be in a room where people are drinking alcohol, so they are smelling it. Some of them actually can't. And that is what an abstainer is. Somebody who is not able to have a small amount and stop. Somebody who, if they have a small amount, will go way off the wagon, fall into the deep end for really long periods of time. What relation does that have to the carnivore diet? Well, where food is concerned, I am an abstainer. When we're talking about processed food, sugar-laden food, what we would know as unhealthy food, if I have even a small amount, if I lick it, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to binge, potentially not just even in that one meal, but that whole day, and potentially for weeks, and really fall off the wagon. Even if I have, say, some fruits and veggies, mentally it will do the same thing. And while I've eaten that, I can have a piece of chocolate. The thing is, I can't. I fall off the wagon. So I am an abstainer, not a moderator. There are a few people who I know that are on carnivore and are moderators. And so they will have some garlic or onion, or they'll have like a couple of berries off a berry bush and they're fine. I'm not one of those people. Question number 14. What was it like being a part of the Steak and Butter Gang? If you guys don't know what that is, Bella, the Steak and Butter Girl, she has a YouTube and an Instagram called that, Steak and Butter Girl. She has a coaching community that she calls the Steak and Butter Gang. I joined in March, and then in April, and then in May. I found it super helpful. I love the community. The platform, I'm not great with technology, so I found the platform a little bit difficult to use. I do really like the Facebook platform just because it's more user-friendly from my own brain, but we cannot please everyone, and the platform that Bella uses certainly served its purpose. I loved the Zoom community calls. I loved the check-ins. I loved the advice and information. I loved the guest speakers. I loved her regular coaches. The thing that I found it difficult for me is the timing. So I'm a PST timing Tuesday and Friday at 11 and 2 for an hour each. And it was fine if the baby that I look after was sleeping, but she would often wake partway through or she wouldn't sleep at all. And so then I would miss it. Then there is Tuesday and Friday at, I think it's 5 p.m. And it was a real push to get home in time to be able to watch those. I was often hungry, so I was sidetracked, or I had another event or meeting that I was going to that I needed to get ready for at the same time. But that was challenging. Then they have Sunday at 11 and 2 or 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. on a Sunday. And the morning one was right when I go to church. And I thought, well, that's okay. I'll go to these meetings. It was just for a month initially, and then I'll go to church at night. But I really found that I was missing the community that I had begun to know at the earlier service. And I just found that I was missing more and more of the Steak and Butter Gang meetings. And so that's why once I got through the third month, which was May, I decided just to take a break from that for now and not resume it. Question number 15. What am I doing now to stay focused? I have always wanted to be a part of Kelly Hogan. She has a channel called My Zero Carb Life. I've always wanted to be a part of one of her coaching groups. So I have joined for this month, the month of June. I've joined the coaching group that is, I think it's 8:15 her time. So I think it's 5:15 PST on a Monday evening. And oh my gosh, the first session, I've got so much motivation back just from chatting with her and the other participants in the group. It's been fantastic. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's session. I have goals that I've set each day, 5 goals that I'm working towards. And so it's really helping me to stay focused towards living a life of eating carnivore consistently long term. So that's what I'm doing now to stay focused. And my final Q&A for my carnivore life today is question number 16. Will I always eat this way? Yes and no. Yes, for the fact that it is what is working for my body. Yes, for the fact that it is the best way that we know of to date to treat Crohn's and colitis based off information that I am hearing from doctors who are open to a high protein, high fat, low to no carb diet. I'm not going to really take or put too much stock or weight on advice around health from a doctor who isn't willing to look at that way of eating. I will consider information from doctors who are, they don't have to be eating carnivore, they don't have to be recommending it to their patients, but their mind does need to be open to it if I am communicating with them. And so listening to Dr. Anthony Chaffee, listening to his advice around IBDs, specifically Crohn's and colitis, and hearing what he has to share about that, but also witnessing what I'm personally experiencing in my body, and also remembering some of the advice from my specialist, especially when my Crohn's has been flared, for him to say, don't consume fiber, peel all your food, remove all the seeds, don't consume the fiber, your body cannot handle it. That just makes sense when I think about carnivore because there's basically no fiber in it. And then with that, again, with that information from Dr. Anthony Chaffee. Now, why I would say I wouldn't continue eating this way for the rest of my life. If it stops working for my health, if my health starts to decline and it's not being repaired through food, then I may look at what I can do different. It may not be food that needs to change. It could be something else. But asking me here, if my health continues to improve and stays healthy, will I continue to eat this way for the rest of my life? Yes, because it is what is working. I hope that you have found this Q&A about my carnivore journey thus far helpful. I certainly found it interesting to sit down and take the time to think about my answers to these questions and just to see where I was at in regards to the whole process. I was actually really surprised with some of the thoughts and experiences that I've had along the way and where I am now with things. And so I really do hope that you find it helpful, enlightening, or encouraging. I'd love for you to give this episode a thumbs up, for you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification to be notified of future uploads. If you don't want that personal notification, that's okay. Just still subscribe, but don't hit the bell. And come follow me on Instagram, thatcarnivorelife.gram. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you're new, welcome to my channel. It is so great to have you here, and I will see you next time. Bye.